Hello, you beautiful people. So today, the V3 update for the 3.5 beta just released, and I have to say, there are a lot of things in this update which I didn't expect at all. Both Hysilens and Cerydra got some changes made to their kits, and in this video, we're going to discuss all these changes and whether they are good or not. If you're planning to pull for any of the new characters though, you might want to check out Lubar because on this site you can save up to a total of 25% on all your purchases. To give an example, I'll buy this 3280 Oniric Shard pack for $43, and this same pack costs me about $50 from the in-game shop. You can see that it's cheaper, right? For the top-up process, just enter your UID in this box and choose your respective server, depending on your account. After waiting for a few minutes, I received my Jades with the double top-up bonus because it was my first purchase. If you use my link, which is in the description or the pinned comment though, you can get an extra 10% off on top of all the other discounts. Also, other than HSR, you can top up on Genshin as well using Lubar, and both of these games have quite a lot of 5-star reviews. Before we begin though, let me just mention the usual disclaimer that the version of their kits, which I'm going to discuss in this video, is not the final one, and some changes will definitely be made to their kits in the upcoming weeks. So keep that in the back of your mind. With that being said, let's begin without wasting any more of your time or energy. Alright, starting with Hysilens, I was actually not expecting literally any changes for her kit because honestly, her V1 kit was already really powerful as she basically provides a ton of damage and endless utility. I mean, sure, there are a couple of issues with her kit which I slightly mentioned in my other video where I discussed her kit in detail, but most of these are really small and not that impactful. Now though, I feel like if you're a DOT enjoyer, you're probably going to be really happy because in V3, they made her kit way better than it was in V1 and solved almost all of her issues. Okay, first of all, the biggest issue with her V1 kit was her insanely high 130 energy ultimate cost, and because Hysilens has like no extra energy sources, she used to end up not being able to use her ultimate that often. Now in the V3 iteration of her kit, they actually reduced her ultimate cost from 130 to 110, and I know this might not seem like a big difference at first glance, but trust me. Hysilens can use her ultimate way more now with this change, which is obviously really good. Moving on, the second change that they made was to her bonus traces, and now her bonus traces provide slightly less attack, but in return, they provide way more speed, going from an extra 9 speed to an extra 14 speed. Honestly, this is a really good change, and it will make it a bit easier to reach some certain speed breakpoints on her. Lastly, some of you might remember that when I discussed her entire kit in detail in another video, I did mention that her second trace is actually kind of useless because basically, it allowed her to apply the DOTs from her talent in an easier way, as whenever an ally attacked an enemy, Hysilens would inflict this enemy with her special talent DOTs. Okay, listen, at a first read, this trace actually sounds pretty decent, but the issue is that Hysilens doesn't even need this trace. She already applies these special DOTs from her talent extremely well and have a 100% uptime on all of them without her second trace even doing literally anything. So now in this update, they fixed this by revamping her entire second trace, and basically, they took her E1 and put that E1 in her second trace. This is like an insane buff to her entire kit and even her entire team as a whole, because her new trace makes it so that whenever she uses her ultimate, it detonates all the DOTs present on the enemies for 150% of its original damage. It gets even better though because other than the extra damage, whenever you deploy her zone, or in simpler words, whenever you use her ultimate, she will generate 1 skill point. This trace change combined with her ultimate energy reduction is pretty insane for her damage as well as her utility, as she can use her ultimate frequently now and trigger everyone's DOTs at the same time. I'm actually pretty surprised that they buffed her this hard for no reason at all, because she was already strong, but don't get me wrong, I'm really happy that she got buffed. Also, they tweaked her E1 and some other Eidolons too, with her new E1 basically being a 24% buff to all DOT damage dealt on the field, which is pretty cool. But I still can't get over the fact that they basically gave everyone a free Eidolon and buffed her on top of it. These changes are easily a 10 out of 10 and make her a really strong character. Next up, moving on to Cerydra, I would say that she got the short end of the stick, and before I tell you the changes she got, do keep in mind that she'll get more changes in the future, and this definitely won't be the only one. Cerydra's problems mostly stem from how niche she is, with her only really working well with a few DPSs, and being either a side grade or a downgrade elsewhere. Don't get me wrong though, she is quite strong in her niche, and she's mostly meant to be played with Finon and Archer, and she is great with both of them, but I really expected them to make her more universal with other DPSs, and in reality, they did the opposite. Basically, Cerydra was changed to grant her allies with 6 stacks of her skill have a 10% resistance penetration, and yes, that's literally all the changes that she got in this update. I'm a bit disappointed, but at least there are future updates to look forward to, and hopefully she'll get a little stronger than her current state. Welp, with that, I've covered all the changes that they made in the V3 update of the beta. Do let me know how you guys feel about their kits and the new changes, and I'm somewhat curious to know what you guys think about these changes. Also, if you watched until the end, thank you, and you might want to consider subscribing as well. With that being said, I will see you in another one.